super duper. I thought that this was when you hear it, we'll go, oh, well, of course, this is no surprise. But she had the right people. She had the right information, went to exactly the right depth. And this was about the transgender lobby, and it explains exactly where everything is coming from.
We begin with an investigation into the forces working to shape our information landscape when it comes to transgender policies. When an issue goes from 0 to 60 practically overnight, grabbing headlines, political real estate, and funding priorities, you can bet there's an invisible hand in play. Today, some of the surprising interests we found behind the well-funded transgender lobby.
All right. So she had my attention from the get-go. And surprise, surprise, this is not a grassroots movement, as everyone would have you believe. It's top-down.
People who think that this is a grassroots movement that is giving rise to the transgender culture in the United States, this transgender moment that people say that we're having, do not understand that this is more of a top-down dynamic that is at play, where you have really just a handful of organizations and LGBT advocacy organizations that are driving the agenda. But because they have such sway and such money, they're influencing everything from schools to politicians to corporate America.
All right. So there's three groups that this guy he did a lot of research on this. What do you think is the number one money influencer as to this top-down movement?
Well, I know one of them is Pritzker.
That comes in the number 2 position.
Ooh, Soros?
No. Think much bigger. Who controls the media?
Disney?
Who controls the media?
Who controls the media?
Pharma.
Oh, pharma.
The name of the report that I wrote about this for the American Principles Project is called The Transgender Leviathan. I chose that name on purpose. The Leviathan, this biblical monster that's just enormous. You can only ever catch glimpses of the full size of it, right?
So tell me what you've learned about the big forces behind the funding.
Yeah, so I think you can broadly name 3, which is pharmaceutical companies, liberal billionaires, and ultimately, I think to a growing extent, the taxpayer.
When it comes to taxpayers, Gonzalez points to studies the government funds, like one promoting breast removal or mastectomies for young girls as part of a process to transition.
But I think the far larger and more pernicious problem is the problem of the pharmaceutical companies who are behind the stuff. And there's so much.
One example is Lupron, the drug most commonly used for suppressing puberty. It's a first step under one model of treating children who wish to be the opposite sex.
It's not FDA approved for use in transition therapy, right? It's used to castrate basically the most dangerous kinds of sex offenders who just can't help themselves and are most likely to reoffend. So they give them Lupron to basically chemically castrate them. And now we're giving it to kids to suppress the process of them going into puberty.
With 2 injections reportedly costing as much as $73,000, Lupron drew $2 billion worth of business last year for drug maker AbbVie.
The Biden administration cited a study produced by a group called the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is an LGBT advocacy nonprofit. And basically, the Biden administration said, like, this study from this nonpartisan nonprofit says that it's important for children to be able to have access to gender-affirming care, right? But when you look at the funding of the Trevor Project, what you'll see is that they actually received $50,000 from AbbVie Foundation, the company that manufactures Lupron.
Yeah, I love it. The Trevor Project is Elton John's in that, and that's huge. So we know how the pharmaceutical companies at least control what the media does or does not say. So that will be kept away from the news or the media at all times. But now that was not so surprising to me as this next part, which explains so much.
We found an even bigger medical money interest surrounding the trans movement. It involves a little publicized but sad reality, the transgender HIV epidemic. In 7 major U.S. cities, more than 40% of transgenders are infected with HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. The rate is even higher among transgender blacks. Most of them, 62%, are HIV positive, according to the CDC survey. Adds up to a lucrative market for businesses like Gilead Sciences, a pharmaceutical company that's developed 11 HIV medications now on the market, earning over $1.5 billion a month. And Gilead happens to be the single biggest known funder of the trans agenda. More than $6 million in 2017 and 2018. Gilead says its goal is to support communities that are disproportionately impacted by diseases aligned with our therapeutic areas of focus.
But wait, there's more.
The number 2 funder of trans causes at $4.8 million over 2 years is Arcus Foundation. Arcus is a nonprofit associated with billionaire John Stryker, heir to the Stryker Corporation, medical technology company Fortune, and a driver of gender identity ideology and transgenderism across the globe. Third, $4.6 million, is Tawani Foundation, associated with the billionaire Pritzker family and James, now Jennifer Pritzker, of the Hyatt Hotels fortune. Tawani has large medical investments and funds causes that normalize transgenderism and a broad spectrum of identities. And number 4 among top donors to trans interests is Gill Foundation at $3.1 million, associated with American software magnate and gay activist Tim Gill. He's the single largest known donor to gay causes at $500 million total.
So the way I read this report, or hear this report, is we need more transgender folk to get HIV to sell our medications to. And they're all in it, and they all have these companies that sell crap.
Marketing taken to the extreme.
Oh, and then just
marketing without conscience.
Who? I mean, hey, I'll become a chick. My name's Pritzker. I'm Jen. Good to go. These people are disturbed. And so Cheryl...
Disturbed and rich.
Well, that goes hand in hand sometimes. Cheryl Atkinson will now wrap it up because, of course, this money buys you everything you want, including education.
The money from a handful of sources seeds thousands of groups, reaching into policies and practices in government and education, and at corporations, universities, doctors' associations, hospitals, insurance companies, media outlets, journalism groups, and more. Top recipients of the trans-targeted money include the University of Minnesota, home to Gender and Sexuality Center for Queer and Trans Life. Another top beneficiary is Annenberg Center for Health Sciences at Eisenhower. It sponsors programs like this one for healthcare professionals.
Hello and welcome to the Elevate webinar series on creating a gender-affirming healthcare environment for optimal HIV care.
Funding for transgender causes continues to hit new highs each year.
Yeah.
By one analysis, the top 10 foundations that give the most made up 55% of the funding. In the end, the explosion in transgender influence on society and politics can largely be traced to a handful of powerful interests.
There you go. And, of course, stopping advertising of pharmaceutical products directly to consumers on television would help a lot of this.
Yeah, help prevent it. And by the way, this is the kind of report that you would have seen on the show 60 Minutes about 15 or 20 years ago.
Longer. I don't even think they do that now. 60
we know
Minutes,
they don't do it now.
You know what 60 Minutes is doing now? They're doing native ads for IBM for their quantum computer.
The show is unwatchable.
Yeah. Yeah. The quantum computer. Oh, IBM is, we don't have an AI play, so we got to do quantum. But this is...
They have Watson.
But this is... That's right. This is horrible. Horrible. They don't care about the children. They've completely captured parents who...
Are dumb.
No, it's called transhousing by proxy. who are narcissistic, cluster B personality disorder, and I say that with love and understanding because they were traumatized.
Isn't it Munchausen?
This is now an accepted term, Transhausen by proxy.
Transhausen?
Yes, it went from Munchausen by proxy to Transhausen by proxy. It is apparently an accepted term in the
Wow.
Yeah, it is the Epoch Times, the Epoch Times. Parents' personality disorders driving surge in trans kids. It's true. It's. I mean, of course, there are people with gender dysphoria. There have always been people with gender dysphoria, but this moved to 30% of kids saying, "Oh yeah, I'm non-binary. I'm something."
Non-binary.
In February, Jamie Reed, former case manager at the Washington University for Transgender Center at St. Louis Children's Hospital, exposed practice at the clinic and described parents who were adamant about transitioning their children. Her revelations became the catalyst for Missouri lawmakers to draft a law barring hormone therapy, and this is where they coined the phrase
trans hate.
Yes, Transhausen by proxy. But it's narcissism by many of these. It's the same thing as, you get some Hollywood celebrities to start to kick off the GPL1 mania, the Ozempic. And then everyone follows. It's the advertising is the problem. That's the biggest problem. We could stop so much by just stopping that. And while we're on it,
Well, that was depressing.
well, I'll lift your spirits with some crazy stuff here. There is such a push to get these semaglutide drugs into the Medicare package and forced insurance that they're just rolling out everything they can. It helps you lose weight. But wait, let's bring on George Stephanopoulos. This is Good Morning America. And these are people who take themselves very seriously. Listen to the crap they are doing.
Now, new research on Ozempic and alcohol. It finds that the weight loss drug may also help prevent alcohol overuse and abuse. Dr. Jen Ashton is standing by. First, Harold Reshef has the details.
Alcohol abuse, it helps. What?
I have no
Helps
desire
everything.
to drink wine anymore. And that's crazy to me because I couldn't stop before.
This morning, the wildly popular drug used for weight loss, semaglutide, is now showing very early signs of potentially curbing alcohol use for those who drink excessively. A new case study composed of...
We used to call those drunks or alcoholics. Now it is alcohol use disorder.
For those who drink excessively. A new case study composed of 6 people.
Whoa!
Six
whole people.
Screening positive for alcohol use disorder, or AUD, found that they all saw a clinically significant decrease in symptoms while they were using semaglutide for weight loss. Christy Martin, who was not part of the study, says while she used to drink wine every night, her urge to drink has disappeared.
Drinking for me was becoming a bit of an issue.
I can't believe this is on television. I was a drunk. I was a lush, but then I took the Ozempic.
And the fact that I just have no desire for it is something I didn't expect and is just an amazing side benefit. I can't even tell you.
Amazing.
This small case study now setting the stage for larger clinical trials, looking at semaglutide as a treatment for AUD, as researchers explore whether the drug has the potential to treat other excessive use conditions. And again, this initial study only included 6 patients, but as you heard, more thorough studies are already underway. It could be years before we know the true results, but
Doesn't
certainly
matter.
reason to hope.
Sure
Guys.
is. Okay, Ariel, thanks very much.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to tell you, let's put this in the red book.
That report was disgusting.
It's not over. It's not over. I'm going to put in the red book right now that there will be a study, then 6 people is the norm these days. There will be a study that shows that Ozempic is great for erectile dysfunction. I guarantee it. This is the only thing they're missing. This is the only thing. And, I was kind of, flaccid, but now, man, I'm not only my trim, but look at it.
Dr. Jen is here. You know a lot about these drugs. You're board certified in obesity medicine. What is this study?
Board certified in obesity medicine. Okay.
Tell us.
So, George, what's interesting about this is astute doctors for years who have been managing patients on the GLP-1 agonist, that's the semaglutide class, for weight loss and treating obesity, have started to hear anecdotal reports of this. This small case study of these 6 patients was really one of the first times that reported in the literature their experience with their cravings for alcohol use, their subjective experience with that, really powerfully documented. Theories are...
Their subjective experience with that? This is a native ad of the most lowest form. The lowest form. And it's minutes and minutes of this stuff.
Their subjective experience with that, really powerfully documented. Theories are that works in the brain, in the reward center, but this could be a major indication.
I have to say, we know a lot of people who are taking these drugs, and they report the same thing.
We know a lot of people who are drunks here at ABC. They're reporting the same thing.
Absolutely, they do, yeah.
But what other treatment options are available for substance abuse disorders?
Well, this is one of those bright spots, is that it sheds light on what treatments are already existing and how they're not being used. There are 3 FDA-approved...
An extra bonus, they're promoting some other drugs.
Medications for people with alcohol use disorder. They are vastly underprescribed. Behavioral interventions, and then tech-based or app-based therapies.
Tech-based or app-based therapies.
Oh, I want an app-based therapy.
Obviously increasing in popularity and research, but they have a role as well. But all of these things, this isn't about just, potentially choosing one. It's about, if you have an alcohol use disorder or substance use disorder, filling the boat and getting as much treatment.
I thought it was substance abuse. But now they have this new term. I don't know.
What is she saying?
This substance use disorder, alcohol use disorder, not abuse, use. So you're not quite a drunk, but you're kind of on the way.
And as you can to make a big change in your lifestyle.
As we were just discussing, it really seems like a miracle drug. Why do you think that there seems to be a stigma against the use of these kinds of drugs?
I think the social backlash, Lindsay, is huge, whether it's for weight management or mental illness, and that really can't, it's just wrong. If you had high blood pressure, you would treat it. There's a role for these. It's not for everyone. It's not one size fits all, but you have to factor in the risk of not taking a medication like this versus the benefits of treating it when you weigh those options.
The risk of not taking it?
Isn't this great?
Wow.
You can't afford the risk of not taking this medicine. It's so beneficial. It's a Hamas support disorder. It will cure everything.
Pressure, you would treat it. There's a role for these. It's not for everyone. It's not one size fits all, but you have to factor in the risk of not taking a medication like this versus the benefits of treating it when you weigh those options.
Seems like so helpful. Diabetes.
The risks of not taking it versus the benefits. Unbelievable way of putting it. And by the way, I think you get paid. It's almost like I'm reminded of the old, what was that show where people would get into fights on the stage all the time?
Jerry
Springer show where they'd have this was revealed by someone who was on the show, that you got a sheet that if you did this, you got paid so much. If you did that, you got paid so much bonus. So if you took through a shoe, you get $500, something like that.
Yeah.
There is obviously a bonus clause in here if somebody says it's a miracle drug, there's $500.
I think it's more than that. I mean,
probably.
This is Dr. Jen. This is Dr. Jen.
The obesity expert.
Board certified. Dr. Jen is saying you'd have to weigh the risk of not taking this versus taking.
She should be disbarred. You can't disbar anybody. But something should be done about someone who puts it in that way. In other words, it's risky not to take it.
It's great.
And beneficial to take it.
But what she's saying here is that this obesity, and this is the bottom line, John, everybody knows, obesity, it's a disease. It's not because you eat. It's a use disorder, a food use disorder. You see, this is where this is going.
Treated. There's a role for these. It's not for everyone. It's not one size fits all, but you have to factor in the risk of not taking a medication like this versus the benefits of treating it when you weigh those options.
Seems like so helpful. Diabetes, weight loss, alcohol, you name it. All right, Jen, thank you so much.
That's awesome. Everything. Now, there is, of course, a closing to this 8-minute story.
We are back now with a question from our viewers, and Dr. Jen is here to answer it, of course. The question is, I'm easing off of Ozempic, and I'm worried about the weight coming back. Any suggestions for this?
So first of all, it depends on each individual, of course. But yes, people should expect that some amount of weight loss on these GLP-1 agonists will come back because that is the chronic condition of overweight and obesity. It's not like treating strep throat, where once you're done, you're
just
done.
Goes away.
How much will come back is an unknown, but what is happening in the real world is that a lot of doctors who have patients on these kinds of medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro are kind of putting them on a maintenance plan.
Maintenance plan.
Yeah.
A maintenance plan. This is a great drug. We need this in Medicare, a maintenance plan. You're on it forever.
In terms of long term, so what could that look like potentially? And again, it will be different for every person. It might mean instead of taking a shot or an injection every week, maybe you're taking it every 2 weeks or every 10 days. It might be going down on a dose. It might be alternating weeks, 1 week on, 1 week off.
This sounds a lot like the Sacklers with the opioids. Well, just change your dose. Don't worry.
Point is that you have to remember the condition of overweight and obesity are chronic conditions.
It's chronic condition. You can't help it. It's chronic. It's a disease. That's all that there's there for you. You need a maintenance program. You need to keep taking it because otherwise that weight's going to come back.
They're not as simple as treating an infection for a short period of time and then you're done with it. So long-term management is going to be a big part of it, and we still don't know what that will look like.
So there is a weight management component to this where the doctor can kind of decide to lower the dosage to make sure you're consistent and you're not losing more weight than you want.
Absolutely. Just like we do managing patients on other types of medications. It's not always the official way that the drug is designed, but this is what doctors and healthcare providers do to help their patients manage a chronic condition. So we should be hearing more about that because there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be managed on these medications.
Oh my God. This is so horrible. But, this is who we are as Americans. I'm almost speechless of hearing this. And then last one, I'll stop. This is not about Ozempic. This is, well, actually, I should do this one. This is the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal report, which has a podcast in the morning. And they now, so I'm going to play this clear native ad about Ozempic, and a new term will be introduced to, and then listen for the story that comes right after this one.
As demand for weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy continues to surge, food companies are looking for ways to cash in, like by pitching companion products or even natural alternatives.
Companion products. We should do a podcast, a companion product for your Ozempic weight loss. We'll be motivating.
Wouldn't that just be food?
Joining me to discuss is reporter Jesse Newman. Hey, Jesse.
Hey there.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey there.
Of course, food companies are looking to see whether and how these drugs will reshape American diets. How are they responding?
Big food companies, like everyone else, have certainly noticed how popular these drugs that were designed to treat diabetes and obesity have become. And they've really been watching as these drugs just have gotten incredibly popular, spread to millions of consumers throughout the U.S. And there's some concern that that could sort of take a bite out of demand for the products that these companies make.
Uh-oh, we better get some food.
And so what we're seeing is, it's very early days, but we are seeing some companies that are trying to step in and develop some companion products offer to patients on these drugs.
So what are some of their solutions?
We're seeing companies like Nestle and Abbott, and they are coming up with what they're calling companion products. And these are products that patients who are taking diabetes and weight loss drugs could also consume if, for example, they find that they are losing muscle mass. There's a startup out in California.
Oh, if you're losing muscle mass, which is the main thing these products remove, okay, if you find that you have Ozempic ass because you lose it because of muscle mass mass loss. We got some chocolate for you. And a startup is doing it.
Supergut. And they make mixes and shakes and bars out of a proprietary prebiotic fiber blend that they call nature's Ozempic. And essentially do the same thing that these drugs can do.
Okay, so this is the bullcrap report. But wait for the next story in this podcast.
Using all natural foods.
That was WSJ's Jesse Newman.
And now on to the next story. What should it be?
And finally, after 7 years of research, McDonald's is changing its burgers, making more than 50 tweaks to its signature offering.
This is not by mistake, people. This is how your American media works. It's not a mistake. Like, you can lose the weight, now go eat a burger. And right on cue. Did we not say that McDonald's was going to have all the morning shows doing their new thing now?
Oh, yeah, where they're munching down on burgers and going, yum.
Let us turn now to a headline-making mystery from the world of fast food.
Whoa, the world of fast food. Are you excited yet?
Okay, look at this. It's a building in suburban Chicago, and it's been getting a lot of attention on social media. Now, look closely, or right there. Cosmix. Cosmix?
What's that?
Like McDonald's? What? The question. Everyone is asking, what is this all about?
What?
NBC's Maggie Vespa is ahead of the game. Maggie, good morning. What's it all about?
Hey, Savannah, guys, good morning. Yeah, we wish we knew. I mean, look, you can see they're clearly keeping it under wraps. There's literally a tarp over the sign.
No,
and by the way, if that's not clue enough, the major chain backing this venture, which, if you haven't figured it out by now, is McDonald's. They're not confirming much at all tied to Cosmix. That being said, fast food fans and industry experts agree this mounting McMystery marks a very American trend.
A McMystery. Was Maggie Vespa? Did she co-host that debate last night?
I don't know who did. I didn't watch the debate.
Because
wait,
no, was it
a McMystery? I think we're onto something
it's
here.
It's a McMystery. You want to hear the McMystery? Or
they solved the McMystery?
They solved the McMystery.
Breaking McDonald's news. I've got the scoop on Cosmic.
This morning, in a nation long obsessed with...
It's so insulting.
...with fast food.
And they've been super secretive about it.
Fans on social media are loving this supersized mystery.
All right, here it is. Cosmix in Bolingbrook, Illinois. It looks like there are going to be 4 drive-through lanes.
Online sleuths are zeroing in on what appears to be a
it's going viral.
Fast food joint in the making in suburban Chicago. Its name, Cosmix.
Oh, no.
A new venture. McDonald's CEO.
All right, so I'm just going to leave all that. I'll just go to the payoff. The payoff is the best part.
That's an interesting take to end on. And by the way, guys, we talked a lot about online sleuths, right? Well, basically, before these signs were tarped and it was kind of being kept under wraps to this degree, it's worth noting people online were doing everything they could to find out anything they could about Cosmix. Case in point, one guy who posted these photos on X of what he says is Cosmix menu. You can see if this is the menu. It goes all in on drinks, different iced teas and lemonades. There's something called a galactic boost. They have frappes. In the food section, we see like a spicy queso sandwich and pretzel bites. Now, to reiterate,
the McMystery is solved, but let's thank the company. Let's thank the guy who's paying us to do this horrible native ad.
Again, that is one person on Twitter who posted those photos. McDonald's has yet to confirm anything official. That being said, another one of those earnings calls is slated for tomorrow, so it's very possible, guys, that our knowledge on this topic could get supersized very soon.
A marketing guy is going to get a salary supersized for this.
Thumbs up. Yep.
Keep us posted, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
I hope they have Egg McMuffins.
The marketing guy's salary is going to get supersized for this.
These people are horrible.
They should be arrested. They should.
This is our news media. This is what it's come down to.
Yes.
There's no news there. Who gives a shit? It's not across the street from me. What difference does it make?
It's
unbelievable.
These are serious journalists.
Well, that's what they like to
promote they like
themselves
to think that. They like to think that.
And they all hate Trump, so let's make sure they get that even. So
yes,
these are the same people that Trump did, when they did the debate Trump was on with Hannity at the same time as
really?
programming.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
And so he did he made some. He was doing shtick, doing material.
Yes,
joking around.
Good.
And so one of the things he said was, "Yeah, they want me to be. They keep saying I'm going to be a dictator. I'm not going to be a dictator. Wait, I'm going to be a dictator. I'm going to be a dictator for one day.
One day. Oh,
yes,
one day.
And then he's going to close the border and start drill, and then that's the end of his dictatorship."
Oh, my goodness. That's funny.
So NBC, so I got this thing, this is the clip, it says Trumo comments.
Yes, okay.
So instead of seeing this as a joke, because Trump was kidding around, doing anything he could to keep people's attention off the debate.
Let me guess, they took it so seriously, they went all bananas.
They went nuts.